Hey guys, welcome. So today I'm so excited to do our first solo breakdown. This is actually the one that was used on the Instagram. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So let's just take it line by line. Okay, so right off the bat, I actually do nothing. So the very first thing I do is silence. And I know we talked about that in previous modules, is just the importance of silence and taking a break. So it's not about how many notes you can play, but it's about phrasing. And so when you're making phrases, silence is a huge tool. All right, so we first start with the silence. Okay, so we start with the D major 7. Goes to the A flat 7. And then it resolves to the G major, right? The G major 7. And so we talked about tension and we talked about target and landing notes. So first things first, why did I wait and not play anything on D major? And why did I wait to go, like, why did I start my solo on this A flat 7 resolve to the G? The reason why is tension and release, okay? So you can play a solo on the D major, and it's not bad at all, right? It sounds great, but your soloing is a lot more powerful and effective when you pass through chords. So this D7 is stagnant, right? When we get to this A flat 7, now we have tension. And so I like to pass from the tension to the release. You see that? So I waited until the tension came, and that's when I started my phrase. So that in and of itself could be a whole module, right? But let's keep moving. But again, breaking this solo down, I first started with space because major chords are stagnant. They don't have movement to them. So I was like, okay, I'll just let it breathe. And then boom, now we get to the tension. Now I'm gonna start my solo. Okay. So that was for lesson number, or that's just section number 1, is just using the space to set up the solo. Secondly, we just talked about starting the solo on the tension. Now let's talk about note selection. Now, just like before, when you're soloing, you're just using the notes of the chord. So this A flat 7, right? D major 7 to the A flat 7, resolving to the G, right? So I start this off. This is the whole chord. It's an A flat 7, sharp 9, sharp 5. This is the actual chord, right? And if you look at the notes I did for the solo, right? So the solo, right? If you look at that, those are just the notes from the chord. So it's just the notes from the chord and scale. That's all I did. I just simply made a phrase using the notes of the chord. Nothing crazy. Right? And so when I'm making these melodies, I'm just using the notes from the chord, and I want to, what's called outline the chord. So if this is the chord, I want to be able to hear that without me actually playing the chord. So for instance, if I want to hear G major 7, I can play it like this. Now, I didn't play the chord, but you heard it in the solo, right? By outlining the chord. And how you outline the chord is by playing the chord tones. So this should start making sense from all the previous modules. And we can outline the chord by using chord tones in creative ways like arpeggios, 3s and 7s, and then we can do chromatics. Right? So that's all that I'm doing. So it's really not complicated. You just have to practice to get these concepts underneath your fingertips. So we've got the D major 7. And then again, target note, landing note. So I started off on this A flat 7 chord, and I want to land on G major 7. And I'm going to go to the 3. You see that? 3s and 7s. There it is. Right? I landed on the 3 of the G major 7. So ladies and gentlemen, please, 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 please practice these previous modules, which are 3s and 7s, the chromatics, the arpeggios, the phrasing. Please practice it so much in all 12 keys as much as you can, so that way you can recall this at a moment's notice, okay? So we've got that phrase that starts in the A flat 7, and I land on the 3, okay? I land on the 3. So let's just hear that one more time all together. Okay, so great. Okay, and let's take it to the next half. So we had spacing to start off with, right? Here's the spacing. Now we should A flat transition, land on the 3 to the G. Now I did a little pentatonic. So I'm doing like a little pentatonic D major scale, because I'm just simply riffing on the G major right there. So I'm just riffing on G major. That's all that is. So we start off with the D major 7, right? A flat 7. Land on the 3 of the G. See that? That's just me kind of it's pretty much doing the D scale without the C sharp. So I'm really just playing the G major scale without the C sharp, because that's in D. That's all I did, right? And then it goes into, so then it goes into the C9, okay? So we have the D major 7, A flat 7, now to the G7, G major 7, to the C9, but we got the sharp 11 in there, okay? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and then there's an 11, but we have a sharp 11. Does that make sense? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, sharp 11. Okay? So once again, going slowly, we start off with the D major 7. Okay? Start with the D major 7, and then I went to the A flat 7, and then I outlined the A flat 7 chord with this phrase. And then I ended it and landed it by passing to the G major, landing on the 3rd. You see that? Okay. And like a little roll off. Okay. And then I did this little pentatonic kind of run. Now you see that? Now I landed on the 13 of the C. This right here is a C dominant 13, right? Which is just simply a C7 at its core. But I landed on that A, which is the 13. And so then I went to an altered scale. And you'll find this in the altered scale lesson. So all I did was transition from like a G major to the C altered. And then I landed back then on the 3 of the D. So let's take a listen to that. See that? Boom. So when I was on the C9, I'm just using this altered scale. Okay, it's a Lydian dominant for those who want to be technical. C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B flat, C. Okay, this is a Lydian dominant. And you can just play this C7 and play this Lydian dominant scale. That's all I did, just hang it out on there. And then I wanted to get back to the D. Again, 3s and 7s. F sharp is the 3 of D. And all I did was outline the chord. So I did a chromatic walk up. So let's actually just listen to it. Let's see here. See that? Let's take a listen to it one more time. See that? So I did, chromatic was right here. Right? E, F, F sharp. So I did the chromatic there. So I did a chromatic into the 3. And that was one of our exercises. Remember that? We did the chromatic arpeggio exercise. But again, so now we witnessed already, we used space in the beginning, and then we outlined the chord, then we landed on the 3, right? And then we did a little bit of a pentatonic run, and then we go to the C, Lydian dominant, and then we ended it with a chromatic, and again we outlined the chord. This is simply just the D major triad. Okay? And we just outline that chord. Let me change this real quick. So I hope this is making sense. And let's go to the next phrase. So now we're on the D. That's the phrase there. Okay. So can't remember my own solo. There we go. I'm actually transcribing this as I go. Because I played all this off the top of my head when I made it. So now I'm just kind of watching it back and learning it myself as I go. So, okay, so we got that. I'm just outlining the D major, right? I'm just doing the D major, just taking notes from the D major pentatonic and outlining the D major sound. See that? All the notes from D major pentatonic. And I landed on this E because it outlines as A flat 7, right? This is the chord, and as you can see, E is in there. So I could have landed on any one of these notes. I could land on C, E, F sharp, and B, right? See that? That works too. And then land on the G. Again, that's the 3, the C7. So as you can see, you can land on any note. It's not like I'm picking a certain note because it's a divine note. I'm just simply I'm choosing to land on the note of the chord tone next. Okay, so I'll say it one more time. I'm just picking notes that are in the chord and I'm landing on them. So if this is your chord, you can land on any one of these notes, right? So we started on D. See, we can land on that C major, or that C natural. Another note is E. Let's land on E. Okay. We can also land on the F sharp, right? Because the F sharp is in there. See that? We can also land on the B because the B's in there, right? So you can land on any note that's in a chord. I just chose E because it sounded great with the phrase that I was making. See that? So let's take a listen to the next line that I did. Okay. So right here, this is an extension. And this is actually in the Saucy Voicings lesson. But D major is an extension for G major 9, right? So if you can see G major 9, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. If you notice, the 5, 7, and 9 is actually D major. You see that? So all I did was outline that. So all I did was outline the D major triad because I know that it works with G major. So start off in D major 7. So boom. Sorry. Boom. Okay, just outlining D major there. Okay, so boom. So I did another space right there. So let's see, space, and I waited for that chord to get to the C dominant because I wanted to give the tension, right? I don't know what I did there, but I resolved it to the D major. Okay. There we go. That's what I did. Okay. Okay. So boom. So I waited for the C dominant, right? Waited for the C dominant to kick in. Because again, that's the tension. I like to pass starting on the tension because that's where you feel like, oh, I got to resolve. Okay. Tension and release is everything with chord changes and with soloing. So I really got to make a deep dive lesson on tension and release. So I waited for that tension to kick in on the C7. And I went back to that C, the dominant Lydian scale, right? This Lydian dominant, okay? So that was the phrase. I started on the A and I trilled down. But I'm just using the notes from the scale. That's it. Right? Just the notes from the scale. So now if you notice, that's where the chromatic kicked in. So when I got to the C, I did the chromatics. Okay? Boom. And I landed on the D, right? So remember, 3s and 7s. C sharp is the 7 of D, okay? So that phrase works great because I landed on the 7 of D, right? So here we go. Ah, sounds great. Tension, release. Tension, release. Boom. And that's all I did. I just went from the C dominant, chromatics, landed on the 7. So this should hopefully give you guys a context of these previous modules with the landing notes, the chord tones, 3s and 7s, arpeggios, chromatics. This is in the spacing, the phrasing, like this is how it all comes together. Okay. So let's just do one more quick recap so we can kind of just put it together. Space, phrasing, landing note on the 3, chromatic, outline the chord, landing note there on the A flat 7, outline the G, C dominant Lydian scale, and land onto the 3 or onto the 7 using the chromatic. Okay, so again, we started on the D major 7, and then I went ahead and passed on the A flat 7. Land on the 3, hang out on the G, and then I went to the right. Okay, so I hope that made sense. Let me know if you have any questions in the group, if you need help with this, and I will be doing more of these. And let me know if this is helpful, because if so, I'll do a lot more. All right, I'll see you guys in the next lesson.